Welcome to Sakura Dreams. Have you had a busy day? Why not gently rest your mind and body? In Japan, we have a beautiful phrase for autumn. Dokushono Aki, or autumn for reading. It is a lovely expression born from the idea that the cooler, longer nights of autumn are the perfect time to quietly immerse yourself in a book. Tonight, we bring you a special story based on this very theme. On a quiet, rainy night, a woman finds a single book in an old bookstore. The gentle scent of the ancient pages, and the sound of the rain tapping on the window, will release your tired mind and invite you into a story of peace. Now, close your eyes and breathe deeply and slowly. May this story be the first page to your peaceful sleep. If you enjoy this content, please consider subscribing to the channel. I finished my work for the day just as the curtain of night began to fall. The rain, which had been coming down since morning, showed no sign of stopping even by evening. If anything, it felt like it was growing stronger. I walked toward the station, my small folding umbrella trembling slightly in my hand. The cold rain poured down relentlessly onto my cheeks and shoulders. I just couldn't bring myself to go straight home like this. On a rainy day like this, I felt a longing to be somewhere quiet and warm. That's right. I know where to go. With that sudden thought, I took a small detour from my usual route home. My destination was a small used bookstore on a back street. The shop stood there quietly, its sign so blurred by the rain that it was barely visible. When I pulled open the wooden door, it was like stepping into another world. Karara. A small sound like a wind chime rang out, and the nostalgic scent of old books, of paper and ink, wafted gently into my nostrils. The shop was filled with warm light, a stark contrast to the cold rain outside. The damp air seemed to deepen the aroma of the old books. The shelves were packed from floor to ceiling with books. Each volume was a fragment of a story that had traveled through a long stretch of time. I looked for the shopkeeper. Behind the register, an elderly man sat quietly. "Welcome. Thank you for coming in out of the rain." The shopkeeper offered me a gentle smile. His voice was deep and warm, as if carrying the weight of time soaked into the ancient books. "Yes. I just wanted to be somewhere quiet in this rain," I replied, droplets dripping from the umbrella in my hand. "I understand. The scent of old books is at its best on a rainy day. It's as if the books themselves are rejoicing in the rain." The shopkeeper smiled softly as he said this. His words made me feel as if a little of the burden on my heart had lifted. I nodded slightly to the shopkeeper and quietly stepped toward the back. Standing between the shelves, the sound of the rain outside transformed into a distant, gentle background melody. The para-para sound of pages being turned. The catch-catch of a small clock. All of it became a pleasant noise, calmly settling my heart. I walked slowly between the bookshelves, like someone on a treasure hunt. My fingertips traced the spines of the books. Books bound in stiff leather. Books with golden letters inscribed on cloth covers. Books with soft, faded paper covers. Each one carried the history of a story that someone had cherished and read. Suddenly, my hand stopped at an old travel diary. "That is a rare book," the shopkeeper said quietly. "You won't find another copy." The shopkeeper had quietly appeared beside me. The author of this book was both a traveler and a poet. He described the rainy scenes he encountered on his journeys with beautiful, heartwarming words. Saying this, the shopkeeper gently opened the book's pages for me. Tucked inside was a small note written in pencil. This memo was written by the previous owner when the book moved their heart. This is how books pass stories from person to person. The shopkeeper's words made it feel as though the used bookstore itself were one large, continuous story. Perhaps this book was waiting for you tonight. I took the book in my hands. It felt like a small ticket to the quiet, peaceful time I was seeking. Without hesitation, I took the book to the register. Leaving the used bookstore, the rain was still falling gently, shito shito. I returned home, took a warm shower, and changed clothes. I felt my chilled body gradually warming up. I brewed chamomile tea in my favorite mug. A sweet and gentle aroma rose with the steam, filling the room. I sank deep into the sofa and draped a blanket over my legs. Outside the window, the rain was making a gentle sound. Potsu potsu, potsu potsu. It was as if someone was whispering a secret word. Listening to that sound, I gently placed the travel diary I had bought from the used bookstore onto my lap. I softly traced the cover of the diary with my fingertips. The slightly rough texture of the paper was comforting. I slowly opened the very first page. The book, it seemed, was about to take me on a rainy journey. Rainy Kyoto. The May rain gently dampens the stone pavements of Kyoto, deepening the color of the fresh greenery. The vermilion torii gates are washed by the rain, gaining a luster that makes them look like signposts leading to the sky. I step into a small tea house and receive a warm cup of matcha. Gazing out the window, the moss green of the misty garden is breathtakingly beautiful. Drop by drop, the garden's shishi adoshi, deer scarer, silently marks the passage of time. That sound is like a meditation on a rainy day. I simply surrender my heart to the sound and to the bitterness and sweetness of the matcha. Rainy Kyoto is all stillness. Everything seems to be holding its breath. And that quietness carries deep serenity into the depths of my soul. Misty London. London in September is always wet with rain. The drizzle covers the whole city with a white veil, making the old stone buildings seem like castles in a dream. I walk slowly along the River Thames. London on a rainy day is somehow poetic and romantic. People walk on, unhurried, under their umbrellas. I enter a small cafe and take a warm cup of tea. Outside the window, a red double-decker bus passes by, splashing past sherry through a puddle. Enveloped in the scent of tea, I simply gaze out the window. Rainy London gently pulls my heart back to the past. It is an old, nostalgic memory. A gentle, warm memory of a rainy day. Bali in the rainy season. Bali in November marks the beginning of the rainy season. The squalls pour down fiercely, briefly, and dramatically. A rainbow arcs across the sky after the rain, and the wet palm trees sparkle and shine. I enter a small temple and look up at the post-rain sky. The air washed by the rain is terribly clear, and the distant mountain ridge is sharply visible. Rain washes everything away and makes everything new again. I feel as if my own heart can be washed clean by this squall and become new again, too. I close my eyes and imagine those scenes. The smell of the rain, the smell of the earth, the smell of the sea, and the faint sound of a distant bird. I open my eyes again and sip my tea. The gentle sweetness of the chamomile moistens my throat. The warmth slowly spreads from the inside of my body. I continued reading the travel diary. It described a library on a rainy day, where a cat curled up and slept by the window. A train station on a rainy day, where a little girl in rain boots splashed Pasha Pasha through the puddles. They were all warm scenes that made a rainy day feel a little bit special. The diary was like a gentle guidebook for a rainy day. How to take a walk in the rain. How to spend time in a cafe in the rain. How to calm one's heart in the rain. And how to enjoy stories on a rainy day. I finished reading the travel diary and turned my gaze back toward the window. The rain still showed no sign of stopping. Potsu potsu. Potsu potsu. The sound was as if it was turning the rainy scenes described in the diary into reality. I settled back into my favorite chair and looked out the window. The raindrops tracing paths down the window pane looked like tiny living creatures. One by one, they drew their own trails, flowing slowly, slowly downward. Watching them, I felt the ripples in my heart becoming calm, calm, and finally settled. This sound of the rain was like a gentle embrace. It was as if it was washing away everything. My body tired from work, my heart weary from conversations. I took a deep, slow breath. With every inhale, the quiet air of this rainy day filled every corner of my body. With every exhale, I felt every burden slowly leaving my heart. I simply existed here, enveloped by the sound of the rain, the warmth of the room, and the scent of old books. I closed my eyes and savored this moment with all 5 senses. The sound of the rain reaching my ears. The scent of the old books tingling my nose. The warmth of the room on my cheeks. The gentle sweetness of the chamomile tea on my tongue. And the ultimate serenity spreading through my heart. It felt as though I had become a character in the story of this rainy day. I was no longer tired. My heart was no longer empty. I was simply calm and filled. The rain sound had, at some point, transformed into an even gentler, lullaby-like sound. Potsu potsu. Patsu patsu. A quiet, rhythmic sound. I leaned my body deep into the sofa and pulled the blanket up to my shoulders. The warmth gently enveloped my entire body. Outside the window, the streetlights glowed with a faint halo. It looked as if the moonlight were softly blurred. I began to close my eyes slowly. My eyelids grew heavy with a pleasant weight. My breathing became deeper, slower, and calmer. My body was relaxing, as if melting into the sofa. There is nothing left to think about now. Not work. Not tomorrow. Just surrender to the sound of the rain. The rain gently invites me into a deep sleep. I am now so peaceful. I drift slowly into a deep sleep, enveloped by the sound of the rain and the scent of old books. Enveloped by the sound of the rain and the scent of old books, she fell into a deep sleep. May the peace of this story become your sleep as well.